At the start of the 20th century, women across the U.S., including Nevada, became involved in an effort that would change the course of our history. It was called the suffrage movement.
Suffrage means the right to vote, the enfranchisement of a group.
The road to the 19th Amendment was not an easy one. It spread across the nation, one state at a time. While Americans began discussing the issue in 1848, it would take more than 70 years for women to win the right to vote. While the scale of Nevada's suffrage efforts might seem small when compared to the national movement, they were no less passionate or vocal. The state's first suffrage effort in the late 1860s failed to take hold, but in 1911 the issue gained ground again.
In January of 1911, there was a rally in Carson City in support of suffrage.
Nevada's native Felice Kohn, a practicing attorney in Carson City, was one of the speakers at that rally.
She drafted the resolution that would go before the legislature in January of 1911.
Kohn's successful lobbying efforts helped to pass the resolution. Nevada's most prominent suffragist was Ann Martin. She graduated from the University of Nevada in 1894 and continued at Stanford, receiving a second BA and an MA. Eventually, she joined the University of Nevada's faculty and went on to start the university's history department. Ann Martin received her political education in England.
She had become involved in the suffrage movement in England and been arrested and jailed in the process of advocating for women's rights in England. Came home to Nevada with the intention of gaining the right to vote for Nevada women.
Suffragists like Martin and Kohn disagreed on strategies, but Ann Martin's experience in England led to Nevada's effective suffrage campaign. They managed to organize women and some men in nearly every precinct in the state.
It was just an astonishing feat of organization and of interest and enthusiasm. And it was not a smooth road. There was plenty of pushback. There was plenty of opposition.
The opposition did nothing to deter Nevada's suffragists. In fact, it only drove them to dig their heels in deeper in southern Nevada. Bird Wilson of Goldfield led the charge.
Bird was an attorney, and she produced a pamphlet in 1912 about the legal status of women in Nevada that got wide coverage. It was, again, one of those mass mailings that was mailed throughout the state.
When election day came, supporters positioned themselves at polling places throughout the state. They handed out pro-suffrage leaflets to the men who'd come to vote.
When the vote was finally counted, it passed in all counties but 4, and so in the total vote, it passed really respectably with a good 60% of the vote.
And it was the makers like Felice Kohn, Ann Martin, and Bird Wilson who helped unite the individual voices of Nevada's women into one clear declaration. We are citizens in a democracy, and we demand the right to participate in that democracy.
In Nevada, women achieved the right to vote in 1914, 6 years ahead of the national 19th Amendment.
Winning the right to vote was a significant first step in the fight for women's rights and equality. But that fight would continue for years to come. There were many barriers yet to break through.